Hi again, everybody. Welcome back to the Schreiner Sports Network. My name is Ted Davis. We do our weekly Sit Down with Ted, where we interview somebody associated with the athletic department here at Schreiner University in Kerrville. And today we're talking with Melissa Hansen. She is the softball coach here at Schreiner. So thank you for sitting down and talking with us.
For sure. Looking forward to it.
You're in your second season here.
Yes.
You made the jump from coaching at the high school level to the college level. What led to that decision?
A lot, actually. Had 22 years of blessed coaching with some great athletes, raising a family, and this was a jump that I really wanted to make, and my family supported it, so it was something that kind of came at the right time.
I was in the NBA for 37 years, and I talked to college players who, even if they were top college players, when they made the jump from college to the NBA, it's a big jump. Is it a big jump from high school to college?
You know, I think the biggest jump and the hardest hurdle that I've had is my family being 5 hours away, and us going back and forth. As far as the collegiate part, going from high school to college, really, I guess with the 22 years of coaching background has helped me kind of be okay, I guess you could say.
Yeah, once the game starts, it's pretty much the same.
It's pretty much coaching.
Right? Yeah.
Right.
So back in high school at Sweeney High School in 1996, you won a state championship. What was that year like?
Man, it was great. I was a sophomore. My freshman year, I came in and played shortstop. And my freshman year, we went and we lost out. And so we went back our sophomore year and won it. And then we jumped up to 4A the next 2 years and got into postseason. But that year was, there's nothing like it.
Yeah, I went through a championship year, and it really is special, and it's something you remember your entire life. Have you guys had a reunion or anything? Have you gotten back together?
So when I was coaching at Sweeney, we built a new facility, and our 20-year mark, I hate to say that, it makes me feel so old, but our 20-year mark, we brought back all of our team and acknowledged everybody on the field before a game, so it was kind of cool.
Now, where did you get the idea to coach?
I think it's just something that I grew up, just the passion of loving sports. Yeah. And as I got a little older, started working with younger kids. And then, of course, got into the collegiate level. I played at a JUCO and met my husband and got married. And we had a small family and started coaching my youngest, or both of my kids, actually. And I think just with coaching them and getting put into the high school level right away, I think it just stuck with me, and I enjoyed it. Loved being in the classroom. I did life skills. I was a special education teacher for all of those years and got to coach. So I had two schools that I was very blessed to work for.
Yeah. Now, was there a coach that you kind of inspired you?
Yes. I had a volleyball coach that came in my senior year of high school, Coach Stacy Holcomb. And she came in and was just very intense and young right out of college and really made a difference with me, as well as the softball coach that I had throughout my 4 years of high school, who is now at a local school down there, still coaching and teaching at the high school level. And those two, Coach Altman and Coach Holcomb, were two inspirations for me.
I was going to ask you if you played other sports. So you did play volleyball, right?
Yes, I played volleyball, basketball, and softball, and then went down to two sports when I got to high school, and of course played select ball and things like that. So
in high school you played softball and
volleyball.
Mm-hmm. Okay, so you gave up basketball, huh?
Oh, I was too short.
That can be a problem, as I found out in some of my pickup games. So then you go to the high school level. We coached at two high schools. Sweeney, you were alma mater, and then you went to Danbury.
Yes, I started actually at Danbury.
And then you went to Sweeney. Mm-hmm. Okay, and then but at Danbury, you coached two state championship teams. Take us through that process.
Yes, sir. My fourth year of coaching, 2004, going into my third year, we went to the state tournament, had a great ride, had a great group of girls. Went one state that year, and we're competitive with just being at a small school. You have a lot of kids that are dual athletes. Yeah. And I think that kind of keeps that hunger and that drive to want to win and stay competitive. So we had a great group of young women that went through there. And then in 2011, we went back with a new group, of course, and then 2012 went back as well. But 2004 and 2011 were our championship years.
Now, do you keep up with some of the girls on those teams?
I do. We talk pretty regularly. I have a big group that they have kids now, and some are getting into coaching, some are in the teaching world. So it's neat to kind of keep those connections for sure.
In softball, I'm kind of new to covering softball. I mean, I covered baseball and basketball for a long time. So it seems like if you can find like one or two pitchers and maybe a third, you're pretty well set because of the arm motion. But how difficult is it to find pitchers?
Well, I think it's like any other sport. You have those kids that start at a young age and they start developing. For softball, it's gotten so competitive over the years that it just keeps growing and getting more intense. And I think the game changing and becoming faster, those kids are starting this training at such a young age. Mm-hmm. So if they stick with it, you're finding some really good pitchers. We've been fortunate over my career. I've been pretty fortunate having some great talent on the mound, as well as coming into Schreiner. We had some girls that graduated last year, and we were able to bring in some new talent this year. And I think it's just a matter of finding the right. A lot of people were all about speed, and some are all about spin. So everybody has their preference. I think a presence and a confidence on the mound is key. And I think we've been very fortunate with what we've brought in to kind of help our season this year.
See, I don't know anything about the underhand motion, so I'm asking you. Mm-hmm. With the underhand motion, is it more difficult to keep the ball low? Is that the key? Because it seems like with the motion, it rides up a little bit.
No, I don't think so. I think that natural motion is actually nice. But, I mean, you still go through some injuries. You still go through, things like that, like any other arm motion. But I think for the most part, you finding your release points and keep pushing up. And of course they start doing that at a young age. Yeah. All the way up.
So take us through this year with your team. How's this team progressing?
Great. We brought in half of our roster is new. We are very young. But we were able to recruit really well and bring in some great talent. And this season we've started off pretty strong. Had some great close games. We played a tough schedule this year, and now we're rolling into conference and have our second game, which will be at home starting tomorrow with Trinity. I think for the most part we're very united. Our program has been all about empowerment and building each other up. And I just think every day we're on the field, we're getting better and better. And that's what you want to see as a coach. You want to see the changes as we go, because you don't want them to peak too soon.
Right.
You kind of want to keep that fresh perspective, changing things up and keep them hungry, every day.
Joined by Melissa Hansen. She's the softball coach here at Schreiner University. And, as you go along through the season, what's more satisfying to you? Is it the girls developing what you've been teaching them and then putting it into practice on the field?
Oh, I think it's great for me as a coach personally, seeing the spark, that comes with them improving all the time. And I think they surprise themselves every day with the limits that they thought were going to be that limit. They couldn't get any better than that they're starting to reach and really get above that level. But I really do think for me as a coach, it's just seeing everything come together and them getting to see it. Because when they recognize it, that's the most important. Yeah. We can see it from a distance, but when they feel it, there's a confidence that comes over the field.
And at this level, they really are student athletes because there are no scholarships here, and they're
Correct.
Coming here to go to school and so to have them excel in the classroom has got to be gratifying for you too.
Oh yes, we have our team GPA is very high. Coming in, they know their focus, and that was the first thing that I noticed getting here. I would say that's the biggest change, because in high school, kids are still trying to figure things out.
Right.
And when you get here, you have kids coming into the office, and you're having your meetings with them weekly, and they are so driven and know the course of the path that they're going to take. So it's really enjoyable for me to watch that journey that they're on and seeing how well that they're adjusting from being an athlete and being a student.
Everybody I've talked to here at Schreiner in terms of the athletes, and I say, what's your experience here been like? And they say it's great, and they love the smaller atmosphere and the smaller classes that you can get here. Is that a recruiting pitch that you sell?
Yes, I think for the class setting being small, walking onto the campus and seeing such a large ratio of being student athletes. But I think it's a really unique campus. I mean, you feel like it's big, but when you walk on it and you get to know people, it kind of becomes a more intimate feel. Yeah. And I think that that's a big selling point for our students that are coming in is is the great opportunities that we offer to extend your career and continue to play, but also the degree plans that we have and the paths that we have are so amazing for our young student athletes coming in.
Now, back when you played, you said you played shortstop. Did you
Yes.
play any other positions?
When I got to college, I was told I was too small at that time. Of course, things have changed. But getting into college, I played more center field and then came back to middle infield. I was pretty quick. So I like to play those positions that are very high intense movement.
Yeah.
And that's what I liked about volleyball, being a setter, because I was not very tall again. But being a setter, just the intense movements and always that hustle is what I enjoyed. So.
Did you ever pitch?
No.
Really?
Well, let me take that back. My dad made me when I was 9 for about 2 games, and that's about as far as it worked.
Now, where did your interest in softball come from? Was it somebody in your family, or did you just pick it up on your own?
You know, it's funny that you asked that. I started in baseball.
Okay.
And when I got to, I guess, about the age of 9, they started really coming out with softball being a little bit bigger. And my dad was like, well, hey, let's put you in there. And I was like, no, I really want to stay in baseball.
Yeah.
And got into softball. And that was the year that my dad made me pitch. That's why it was not so much fun. But I think it just came from just the intense part of the game for me. And at a young age, I was very much, that was the sports to play.
Yeah.
And then as you got a little older, you started seeing more opportunities for club and for select and things like that and other sports. But it was pretty much my passion, being on the diamond.
Now, were you a baseball fan, though, when you were growing up?
Oh, definitely.
So, okay, you're close to Houston. So did you
I'm
go to
a
Astro games?
Yes, Astros fan. The first opening season game I missed was last year when I took this job.
So you went a lot.
But yes, that's always been that's a big family thing for us. So we're always at the.
So who's
games.
been your favorite Astros player?
When I was younger, probably I would have to say Craig Biggio and Jeff Bagwell.
Okay, yeah.
And of course, everybody goes to Nolan Ryan.
That was
being that
sort of
little
my
stint
era.
that he played there. But now I think the game growing and you start seeing all these players and the young part of the team that we got to see grow through the Astros the last couple of years makes it fun.
Do you remember your first big league game that you went to?
I do. But I will tell you, I think my biggest memory is the 2004 championship when we won at Danbury.
Yeah.
Our girls were recognized on the field.
Oh, really?
And
Okay,
yes,
that's cool.
And as much as I'm a diehard Astros fan, Albert Pujols kind of came out of the tunnels and kind of ran into me on accident, kind of gave a hug, and he was like, I'm so sorry. And I was like, that was my biggest memory.
Yeah. Yeah. Sure, but
Even though it wasn't an Astros.
Yeah, but you were recognized on the field. That's really cool.
Yes, it was very neat. And I think that's kind of the great thing about where I come from, that community. The Astros are a great organization, and they do that a lot with a lot of the teams in the Houston areas and South.
Okay, my first big league game, I was 10 years old, so I'm a little older than most folks here. But it was 1966. It was the second year of the Astrodome.
Okay.
So I was growing up in Lubbock. My dad, my sister, and I went down to Houston to go to a Friday night, Sunday afternoon game. And it was against the Dodgers. And I walked into the Astrodome, which was second year. I mean, there's nothing like it on Earth.
Right.
I distinctly remember walking into that place and walking through the portal and
Amazing.
out into that dome. I still remember that. And that was 57 years ago. I mean, that memory sticks with you,
And it's very neat when we went to the stadium, just to see it, even when they did close it down. It's those are a lot of memories.
Yeah.
And then, of course, growing up and being such an Astros fan and going to all these games and being there. But I mean, Minute Maid's great. I mean, it's a beautiful stadium.
Yeah.
I enjoy going and having, when they have the roof open, it's just nice. But that's something I kind of took into with my 2 personal daughters, is that experience and going to as many games as we can.
I saw Sandy Koufax pitch on Saturday night.
Oh, wow.
And Don Drysdale on Sunday afternoon. And the Dodgers went on to the World Series that year.
Yeah.
They were really good. And then
That's awesome.
The Astros got beat twice, and I was hoping, back then when they hit a home run, that scoreboard went off, and it was nothing like it.
Yeah.
And I late in the second game, I remember the player's name. His name was Lee May. He hits a home run. And the Astros were down 7-0 or something. He hits his home run to make it 7-1, but I got to see the scoreboard go off.
That's exciting. It's really exciting.
Well, I've enjoyed watching your team play. I've enjoyed doing your games, and
Well, thank you. We're excited to have you here. I think
it's been fun.
It's been awesome.
I did basketball for so long, and there's a pace of the game that you got to keep up with.
Yeah.
And in doing baseball and softball, I've kind of liked the fact that you can slow down and let the game breathe and not talk as much as you would in basketball. So
that's true.
I've enjoyed it. So hey, good luck for the rest of the way.
Thank you so much.
Thank you for talking to us.
Sure.
We've been talking to Melissa Hansen. She is the softball coach here at Schreiner University. Thank you for joining us, and we'll see you next time.